Hello everybody and welcome back to Let's Play Dark Souls. So as you can see, we're right here where we killed Pinwheel. But I mean, you know that if you've seen the last episode. One thing that's new is actually that this is post commentary and not live commentary as I usually do my Let's Play episodes. But unfortunately, something kind of dumb happened. My brother, yesterday, entered my room, knocked over my microphone, it fell on the ground, and pretty much changed some settings on it because I'm using the blue snowball to record my voice, and it has a little switch on the back. And basically, there's one setting that sounds really fucking awful. I don't know, what exactly it is. But it pretty much just sounded like I was talking into a pillow the entire time. So I'm doing this as a post commentary because I don't really want you to have to listen to that because it sounded well fucking awful, basically. But the cool thing about doing this as a post commentary is that I can clap while I playing Dark Souls and maneuvering the menu, as you can see right now. I've always wanted to do that, so this is kind of really exciting. So right now I'm just trying to equip my skull lantern, the one that I picked up very surprisingly in the catacombs, and that just allows to see much better in this area because, as I've mentioned previously, this is like the darkest area in the game. You cannot see shit for the most part unless you use the lantern. But usually you get it just like halfway through, you find it in some hole, and then it gets easier, but the first bit you have to do like in absolute darkness, and I almost died right here. I was really scared because, I mean, I don't know if you've noticed it, but I don't have any Estus left, and I'm fairly low on health, and now in retrospect, I probably should have used the humanity because, as you can pretty much see very soon, this is not gonna end up all that well. But yeah, Tomb of the Giants, here we are. That's a really fancy area, and it's also very dangerous, and we're now gonna fight this skeleton. And man, these things can do some massive damage, but I mean, they're not really the worst that can happen to you in this area, because later on you'll find like skeleton dog kind of things. I mean, we just took him out very quickly. But those skeleton dogs, they are a pain in the ass, and will, in the future of this episode, or I guess I could just say later on in this episode, yeah, cause some problems. But for now, let's just slide down these slides right here. I mean, that's like the main aspect of the beginning part of this area. There's all these slides that just take you to a place you don't necessarily want to be at, and where you can't see a lot. And here I'm just like being careful because there's actually like archer things that you like giant, I don't know, like 5 foot long, 5 feet long, I don't know how you say that. Like, if my audience just consisted of mostly European guys, I would probably just have said like 3 meters long, 2 meters long, yeah, probably like 2, maybe. Let's not just talk about fucking like metric system and shit. But yeah, I was being careful because they could probably take me out in like one go. But now let's try and fight this skeleton. I'm very confident that I can now kill him, because I mean, I've done this before. I'm recording this post commentary like one day after I actually recorded the gameplay. So for me, it's also very funny to now watch it and just see what my past self has been up to. And now here comes the tricky part. So from that side, the one I'm not facing right now, or I guess my character is facing it, but the camera wasn't, you have these guys shooting arrows at you. So I was trying to find a spot where they don't hit me, and now in front of me there's actually 2 of these giant skeletons, and there's no like additional slide. You have to, I think, fight them. I don't think there's a different way. And this is really tricky. So I'm just trying to now equip my Pyromancy Flame and do some damage using that. And I was hoping to not attract the other skeleton. And as you can see, I just got hit there, so this is probably... I'm very much doomed right now. And they'll just kick me off the edge, and that's how I die. But using the magic of editing, I can just skip this. And I'm right back where Pinwheel is, so I of course had to go through the whole like bone wheel skeleton part again, and that was exciting. I mean, I think I even this time killed all of them, but I didn't feel like you had to see that again. Also, then the episode would have been pretty long, and I don't necessarily want my episodes to be like longer than 30 minutes. But now let's get maybe we focus on the area a little bit more. One thing I haven't mentioned yet is those like glowy things on the ground. Those are actually the prism stones that I mentioned during like our stay in the Duke's archives. We picked them up before entering the crystal cave, and that's what they look like. So they're not only good to use in like the crystal cave to see where you can go, but also here to like just, I mean, you could just leave them behind like breadcrumbs, basically, just indicating where you can go and where you don't have to go. So, and here I decided not to fight the one because, I mean, you don't have to. And now, once again, taking my shot at these guys, and I have a good feeling this time, although we'll wait and see, because I mean it was yesterday, and I tend to get like important stuff very quickly. Like sometimes I don't know. I remember like doing homework, and then all of a sudden I didn't remember where my pen was, and I would just like run around all day looking for my pen. And in the end, it was just like, I don't know, in my hand or something. That happens very often. But yeah, so we managed to kill these guys, and now we can finally move on. And I was just checking for another slide, but there is none, and we can now just go in this direction. And I believe that's also the last slide of them all. So now we got a little NPC in front of us. Little disclaimer, he's kind of a douchebag, but I'm just now, first of all, going for the bonfire. 1 out of 2 in this area. And now, let's actually go back and talk to him. But I decided to, first of all, reverse hollowing, because I wanted to kindle the bonfire. And, by killing Pinwheel in the last episode, I can now kindle like even further. Usually you can just do it up to 10 and then it stops, but now having killed Pinwheel, you can, I don't know what the exact limit is, probably around 20 maybe. But I hardly ever like upgraded that far in my earlier playthroughs. So yeah, that's kind of neat, now having 10 at this bonfire. Once again, in retrospect, I probably should have done that with the other bonfire, because at this point, like being right here, during the recording of this gameplay at least, I wasn't thinking about the other bonfire. I was just remembering that one that we were just at. But yeah, let's talk to him.
Dave, you look reasonably sane. What are you doing in the catacombs? Are you a cleric or something?
Of course, we're not a cleric, so...
No? Really? Then I'd have no qualms telling you. There's a fine stash of treasure right down that hole. I found it first, but, well, we're friends now, so I'll split it with you. In any case, have a look. It'll shimmer you blind.
And yeah, I mean... Usually, after such a dialogue, you wouldn't trust him, but in the end, I mean, you'd always win. I mean, you could kill him right away after him saying like all this like dubious stuff. It's very like, I don't know. I find like who trusts him after such a dialogue? I mean, what he ends up doing is he kicks you down this place, and he's kind of a douchebag. So now we're down here, man. And that's a pity. And of course the maniacal laugh as usual. But fortunately, there's not too many enemies around. Like I remember first time I went here, I was like, "Oh man, oh fuck," and I was hardly moving because I was just expecting there to be like so many skeletons and all that. But in fact, we meet another nice NPC, and I think her name is Ria. So let's once again listen to her.
Thank goodness. Please be careful. There are two fierce hollows not far from here. They were once brave knights, my former escorts. Who would let such strong spirits be hollowed so? Heavens, is there nothing at all to be done?
Yeah, and she's now talking about her little companions, and they have actually turned hollow down here, and we're gonna fight them now. And I mean, they're not like the most difficult kind of enemies in the game, but I was getting a little cocky, like halfway through I think, and got a little pummeled, but I will spoil it for you guys. I'll definitely end up killing them. And it's also kind of funny, like the story with her, because after now freeing her, or like helping her down here, she will actually, I think, go to the undead parish, into that one church, like where the bell gargoyles are, or were at. I mean, now they're obviously dead, and there's a certain like time frame in which you can go see her, but if you're too late, I think she dies. So well, I will probably do my best in the upcoming episodes to go and see her, because I've never done that. I've always been too late, and that's unfortunate because I think she's very nice. Like, she's one of the nicer NPCs in the game. I mean, you have so many douchebags. And she gives us one of their spells, replenishment, which I've never used because I've never been like a miracle user at all. But yeah. So let's get going. Let's continue our little journey down here in the Tomb of the Giants. And we'll now be facing a new enemy type. And I don't know what exactly to call them. They're just like skeleton. You'll see them in a second. Like skeleton maybe towers or trees, and there they are. So it's just like a giant stack of skeletons. And it's really odd. And all they can do is pretty much just fall over like that, or do the little arm swingy thing. But they're fairly easy to take out, I think. They're just annoying because they can like dig in and then reappear. But they hardly do that, so that's kind of okay, I think. But yeah. Let's see. What is my past self gonna do? This is really interesting, doing it that way, or like this way, doing post commentary. It's really relaxing. I can just sit here, have a glass of water. Well, I won't get to drink it basically because I have to be talking constantly for the most part. And but I'm considering doing this more often, like post commentary. This is really relaxing, and we're back at the bonfire in front of the NPC. So let's regain some Estus and then get going. Make some progress finally. And what I would usually do every single time I go to the Tomb of the Giant and like encounter Patches, that's what his name is. I would go ahead and kill him after he pushed me down. But this time I decided not to, because I read online that he can act as a merchant at Firelink Shrine if you don't kill him. So that's what I'm hoping for. But now we're actually seeing one of these skeleton dogs for the first time. And man, those things can do some massive damage, especially that like charging attack that you just saw, where they just like fucking freak out and go at you. That's horrible. And these are pretty much like the... I just hate these fucking enemies. Like, I really don't like them at all. But I mean, we managed to take him out, but there's gonna be a bunch more. And I don't know. I've had a horrible time with them in the past. Probably down here in the Tomb of the Giants, that's been like the #1 reason why I would die. So let's rush and take down this skeleton archer. They're fairly straightforward. I mean, they can kick you in close quarters, but if you get behind them, that's okay. Totally forgot about the Black Knight down here. Because he doesn't respawn, he just dies and then he's gone, but... yeah, I didn't really remember him, and he just reappeared and he could have killed me very easily. So let's see. What are you gonna do? Potatez. That's kind of a cool name, now thinking about it, Potatez. Might have to make a little series on that. No, just kidding, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, so now let's get to fighting more of these skeleton dogs. And there's one right there, as you can see. And I was not really sure how to engage him, because usually I just run at him, but I decided to now at least do some damage to like start the fight, to aggro him from a distance, and that might have not been the best idea, because like fighting him down there is usually better, because I mean there's pretty much no edges. You're in a little cave area, but here he could have like pushed me off easily if he had decided to use his charging attack. And I mean, now this the Tomb of the Giants gets a little more complex in terms of the ways that you can take. And I really don't remember all of them, and just to prevent me from dying horrible deaths, I just stuck to the ones that I knew, and I remembered this one. So you pick up the shield, which doesn't... I think it doesn't block 100% of the damage, so I never really used it, but it might be good against magic or something. I really don't remember. I don't have the stats in my head right now. But it's still a nice pickup. I mean, better than those boring souls, am I right? So now, once again, we'll go down here, and I don't know if you can see it right now. At least I can't. Oh yeah, now you can't. You might be able to. You can see those glowy eyes in the distance. I mean, now obviously you can't see him. But it's kind of cool that his eyes are glowing. So you can just go ahead and switch back to your bow and then like shoot him in the head, because you know exactly where it's at, and aggro him that way, because I mean, as you just saw, there's also a dog down there, and I've always been very careful engaging them down there, because you could end up aggroing both of them, and that would most likely kill you. I'm very sure that it would actually. But if you just two-hand them and you happen to like stand right behind them, they're fairly easy to take out. At least much easier than the dogs. Although, I mean, I have to say, this whole like dog term is being used very loosely by me, because I mean they have like a human skull. I don't think they're necessarily dogs, but just their stance and all, like their behavior at least, is very like, I don't know, dog-like. Maybe. Not necessarily, but it sounds kind of good, doesn't it? I wasn't too sure if I could just go past him, because in the past I don't think I've ever been like successful doing that. So I just decided to engage him and try to kill him. But his charging attack is gonna now cause some major problems. I was having a hard time fighting him, because I mean, you cannot really judge when he tries to attack you. Because I mean, he's so it's also dark, and he always moves back and then just takes a swing at you like he just did. And I just fell down, and that was like the sketchiest thing I've ever done. That was really scary, but I end up killing him, and luckily I fell into some like hole that's not full of death and demise. So I can just move on, pick up I think a soul or a white a white titanite chunk. That's quite nice. And now we'll actually stumble upon the second bonfire. And yeah, once again I probably should have kindled this one and not the other one. But I don't know. We'll be fine at least for the next bit until we now fight the dog again, because I mean that of course respawned him, and I think you have to kill him. You can't just go down here because I think he's gonna chase you or jump down, and I think he pushed me off the edge one time, so I've never went down there without fighting him previously again. And yeah, I was really having a hard time here. I mean, once again, like I always have with these guys, I just don't, I really don't know like a good strategy for them, and he ends up killing me because I was playing very poorly. But fortunately we used that bonfire, we rested at it, so we're right back. And now I'm prepared. Now I will fucking annihilate that bitch. Won't I? Pass Potatez, won't I? So do your very best. Good friend, pick up your souls. And then take this fucker down. So we can then finally make some progress. So in here, like shooting a bow at him, or not necessarily. Or I didn't even thought for sure as well I was gonna shoot an arrow at him. But yeah, so like this strategy worked much better. Just like attacking him from a distance, moving back so his charge attack is not gonna hit you, and then just two-handing it. And now, I mean, we've seen him before, but here's another one of those, and there's actually 3. There's 2 behind him, but you can just go past him. There might be an item like behind them, but I don't know for a fact. But yeah, I guess you'll have to find out for yourself, or maybe even you've played Dark Souls before, which I think most of the guys that watch this have. At least that's what I assume, because I mean, I always like to watch Dark Souls videos because I mean, or even despite the fact that I've played through it many times, because it's always fun to watch how other people's do it and deal with the situations that are being thrown at them, and it's a good time. And I think that really this game makes for really some good and creative YouTube videos. Although I know a Let's Play might not be the most creative thing to do for Dark Souls, but I guess you catch my drift, don't you? I don't know. So now, more of these guys, and more of me killing them like a boss. I was checking behind me because I remembered this one of them that spawns behind you. So once again I'm checking because I'm getting a little paranoid, but he actually just appears as soon as you activate the one in front of you. And there's also a nudja. That's a cool word. I've never used that before. Wow. Another. That's what I was trying to say. Jesus. Archer in the back. And he does some massive damage when he hits you. And that's really not cool, because I mean, just the placement of him is really, well, let's say it's not really in my favor. It's pretty much like everything in this game designed to kill me, but you can just stand like right here, and he's not gonna hit you that way. But as you can see, this toad just like dug himself in, and I think he's gonna like then appear right behind you as soon as you get, well, at least closer to the archer. So let's see, he should now have appeared, and there he is, and that really puts me in a horrible situation, kind of a predicament. And I thought I was gonna die here for sure, but I managed to like just get by him, have a giant ass arrow stuck in my torso. But I survived it, and now I just wanna have him approach me. I'm gonna shoot some arrows inside of him. But since I haven't really leveled dexterity, my arrows don't do a lot of damage. But yeah, that's him dead, and now let's take down the archer. But the tricky part about this, I mean, you could throw stuff at him, but there's also another skeleton, so close quarters combat is not necessarily the best idea. So what I usually do is just aggro him, the sword guy, and then just really be careful and really just manage your stamina in a good way so that you can always like block both attacks, both the sword attacks and the arrow attacks. And that was some pro dodging on my part, so I'm pretty proud of that. And here you'll now see how you can potentially have a heck of a time with these guys, because they do kick, and that's don't quote me on that, but I think that breaks your block. But yeah, so this next room is already the room in before the boss door, so I decided to end it right here. And we'll see. So next episode we'll pretty much just have to fight the boss using just 2 Estus. I mean, I could go ahead and regain some and then come back here to then start the episode, but I'm not too sure if I'm gonna do that. For now I want to end it right here, so thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this post commentary, and goodbye.